Well, all right, everybody, this is it. Here we go. It's been a while since I've seen y'all, since you've seen me. And I just want to welcome everybody to episode number 62 of Sports Cards Live. Like I said, I'm glad to be back. It was a nice week off the show, and I managed to catch up on a few things in the real world. And but I did miss this, and certainly missed interacting with all the viewers and the guests and doing this show. I realized I really did miss it. So even though it was only a week, it was a long week for me. So glad to be back. All right. So I want to do one thing like I always do. I do want to thank the guest I had 2 Wednesdays ago, Richard Pollock, the pro NHL scout from the Florida Panthers, who joined me. Awesome discussion about how to really think about hockey players in terms of their development and applying it to collecting. It was a great discussion. I want to thank my guests from 2 Saturdays ago. We had Chris McGill from Card Ladder and House of Jordans on the regular show. And then Joe Perreault joined me on After Hours. 2 awesome episodes. Had a great time. So check those out. This coming Saturday, so this weekend, is the Sport Card Expo. And Saturday night, it's on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday night, my buddy Amit Acharya is going to join me here for an Expo recap episode. We did one after the Virtual Expo in June, and we're going to do it again here in November. So that'll be a fun show. Check that out. We'll talk all about what we experienced and saw and how we enjoyed the Virtual Expo on the Saturday, which will continue again on the Sunday. That's the Virtual Expo itself. Want to welcome back and welcome any new viewers. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining. 70 episodes, over 70 episodes in the archives right now, with including the After Hours shows. So, check them out if you want. Pick the ones you like, go check them out. And I do recognize they're long, so if you bite them off in chunks, YouTube will remember where you left off. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do subscribe. I ask this every time. I'll probably continue to ask it. Please do subscribe. Just closed in on 1,450 subscribers. So I want to thank all of you guys who have subscribed. It's really quite awesome. I also want to tell you guys about something I'm working with Adam, who's the Real 27 guy, on his Basketball Card Fanatic magazine. So he puts out this awesome magazine in digital format. I receive it, and issue number 3 has recently come out. And so what Adam is offering through Sports Cards Live is, if you guys are interested in trialing the magazine, he'll send you the next 3 issues for $20. And if you then want to renew for 9 more issues, he'll sell you those for $60. So $80 for what would amount to 12 issues. His normal price is like $10 an issue, or $100 for the year. So I think it's a great magazine. I read it. I've printed off the first 3 issues. I have them right here. I print them off in color, and I just want to, I want to support this guy. He's doing a great job. The content's amazing. It's getting better with each issue. So, some great interviews, some great content, some great analysis, really good articles. So I wanted to point that out to everybody. And if you are interested in subscribing, I don't have it up and ready to go, which I thought I did, but basically you go to paypal.me/basketballcard, send him some money and mention Sports Cards Live, and you'll get the deal. I'll get more to that later, give you guys some better information for that. I also want to mention, so I just said the Sport Card Expo is coming up this week in November 21, 22. And I want to invite all you guys to come to the Expo and come hang out at my booth with me. I'm going to be there under the Sports Cards Live banner. I've got cards to sell, and I've got lots of talking to do. So if you're coming and you want to come hang out, I can have like up to 10 people in the booth with me at a time. Like that means on screen, and unlimited people can view, but up to 10 people can come on and just hang out and chat. So I really want to extend that invitation to all the viewers. Please come check out the Virtual Expo, and please come see me at my booth, and let's get on screen and just hang out. Come hang out with me and everybody else who's there. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm also going to mention to you guys that on the Saturday at 3:00 Eastern, new grading company CSG is doing a main stage panel, which I will be hosting with their 2 lead graders, Andy Broom and Weston Reeves, who are the 2 that everyone's heard have left Beckett Grading and gone to CSG. So I will be leading that discussion with these guys. We met today actually in a Zoom and kind of laid out the plans for it. It's going to be really interesting. Lots of great information. And one thing I can tell you is that sample of their slab that everybody saw a few months back is not their slab. It's going to be completely different. So if anyone was kind of disappointed with that, I think there's going to be some nice surprises coming. So please do check that out on the main stage. Come hang out with me at the booth. Also, kind of interesting that Upper Deck Series 1 released today, and we've seen these bounties put out there for the high gloss out of 10, $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 bounties. I'm curious to see if anyone actually steps up and pays the price. I think someone will pay the 10 and the 12, but time will tell. Okay, we do have a guest tonight, and we're going to do the card of the day is going to come up at the end of the show. We're going to do the Sports Cards Live 5 questions also at the end of the show with Barry, COMC Barry today. And as always, guys, your comments or questions are in play. So get them in the comments, and let's rock and roll. So let's get to tonight's guest. I got my intro ready to go. He got a start in the hobby in the late 1970s when in grade 3. He helped out a friend of his who thanked him with a stack of hockey cards, and he's been hooked on them ever since. He started working at COMC in 2012. He's a fixture at the Sports Card Expo in Toronto. He's been to the National as well, representing COMC with professionalism and class. Originally from Edmonton, Alberta, now hailing from Vancouver, British Columbia. Let's bring him out. Barry Ma, also known as COMC Barry. Welcome to Sports Cards Live, episode number 62. How you doing tonight, my man?
Great. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you, Barry. We've been talking about this for a while. It's great to have you. So listen, we've got people here ready to talk, ready to hear what we're going to say. So so let's get right into it with the opening face-off question for the evening. And it's one that's on a lot of people's minds, Barry. It's got to do with shipping times at COMC right now. You guys are a little bit behind, a little bit delayed. What's going on with the shipping delays at COMC, and when can you see it perhaps catching up if you can look that far into the future? I think people are curious to know what you have to say about this.
Okay, we know we are a bit behind. We are making changes to improve the shipping times. We are building a better infrastructure to handle it. We are hiring as many people as we can to get more cards pulled and shipped. We do have some challenges. We have limited space there, and with COVID, that exacerbates the problem. We are looking at opportunities to expand our work areas to have more warehouse space to house the cards. So we're looking into that. The unfortunate part about this, like during this time, we are heading into winter, and the reality is there's people who are getting sick, and because COVID is running rampant, these people need to take precautionary measures and stay home and get COVID tests to make sure that they are well. We don't want them to come to work and infect other people, and then basically have the building shut down, and that is the ultimate worst case scenario. So we are taking every precaution to make sure that people are safe, and under those conditions, we are working the best we can, as fast as we can. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a time frame as to when we're going to be better. We are building the infrastructure. We are hiring more people. We have to make sure as well that they're trained properly, as we do not want them to make mistakes and have a delayed shipment and then receiving your cards incorrectly. We don't want to have that. We want to make sure that it goes out 100% correctly to the best of our ability. But we do have this once in a lifetime issue of COVID that we're trying to fight through. So we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, no, man, it makes good sense to me. I work in a business where we've got lots of staff as well, and we've had people that have had, they've been in contact with someone who has the virus, and so they've had to take off. They have to stay home for like 2 weeks and not come to work, and that does affect your business. So I'm sympathetic towards it. I'm also probably more patient than most collectors are, and willing to wait for stuff, usually because I'm not looking to flip it too quick if it's coming from my personal collection. But I've seen a lot of people express their frustrations with it, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to give you, a representative of COMC, the platform to address collectors, directly here on Sports Cards Live, and just let them know that you guys are working on it, and that unfortunately it is challenging times. So I hear you, man. And I wish you guys the best. I do hope you're successful in hiring staff. I know that's not easy to do right now either, because, you know, how do you train people when you can't get too close to them, all that sort of thing. So I'm sure it's going to take extra longer to get those things done, but I wish you guys success in ramping that up and catching up on your backlog and satisfying all the collectors who they're hungry for their cards. And I understand that they are, even though myself, I tend to be a little bit more patient, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So, okay, listen, I'm sure we're gonna get a few questions on this as we go through the night. I do want to welcome everybody that we have viewing right now. So we'll go through that, and then we'll get into a little bit more, history of yourself and a few other topics. We got a lot of stuff lined up, guys. We are going to announce this Sports Cards Live Invitational within the COMC Challenge, which is pretty awesome. I'm super happy that COMC wants to work with us on this. So, but let's say hello. We got Jeff McMahon in the house. Jeff, I'm glad to be back too, man. It's great to see you. Paul Cashman, evening to you. I did enjoy the bye week, even though it wasn't much of a time off for me. It was more just less busy is what it was. Okay, we're not, I'm going to read comments before I click on them. So I'm going to mention to everybody watching right now, this is not a complaint department. Okay. If you have complaints for COMC or you want to vent your frustration, take it elsewhere. I'm not going to address those comments tonight. This is informational, and we're giving COMC an opportunity to speak to the hobby and to explain a few things that might be going on. And I think Barry just did a really good job of that. So I just want to let you guys know up front, we're not going to vent frustrations here tonight. We're going to keep it nice and friendly. Barry's an awesome guy. Like I said in my intro, he represents COMC, and he's a great hobby guy. He does it with professionalism and class. And I know that from firsthand experience dealing with Barry. So let's treat him that way tonight, please. And thank you. Jeremy,
yes, I could say something about our customer service, and just to get it out there. Sure. We do, like when COVID happened and we started getting a bit backlogged in terms of our processing and our shipping, we did not have the infrastructure in our customer service team to deal with the volume. But since then, we have someone who we hired, Steph. She's a great person, and she's basically looking after the customer service team. We pretty much doubled the number of staff, and we've cut down the number of tickets by 50% since we begun the hiring binge. So we even have a couple of people that we've hired remotely in Canada to help with the backlog. We're trying to answer them as quickly as we can. And to be honest with you, it's all in balance. Like the customer service team is basically there to answer questions that people have. But if we didn't have a processing problem or we didn't have a shipping problem, we wouldn't have these issues. So it's sort of expected that we would have more calls during this time when we're unable to fulfill the processing and the shipping backlogs to better. So unfortunately, that's the case. But we do have people that are responding a lot quicker now than we have a few months ago.
So, okay. Thanks for jumping in there, Barry. I appreciate that. I don't mean to scold anybody here. I just really, one of the biggest things I tell all my guests is that it's super important to me that they are comfortable doing the show, and that we don't chase anybody away by any viewership or comments that are, just, inappropriate or angry. I don't enjoy that, and I don't want that on the show. But I appreciate you jumping in there, Barry, and it makes sense to me. And I think to Kane78, who asked the question why it takes months to get support to respond, it comes down to people, and you guys are working on that. And like you just said, you've hired people. You hired this woman, it sounds like, who's doing the job well and getting back out there. So I think that goes a long way, and I think we should all be just. Again, I understand we're frustrated. We're not COMC. It's everything. It's everything, and it's not even just the hobby, right, guys? It's everything. And I know if people are going through tough times, so I'm sympathetic towards it, but at the same time, I don't want this to turn into an episode where we're just airing our complaints. So thanks for that in advance, everybody. Chris West, great to see you, my man. Jeff wants to know if I have updated my Google Doc prices as of yet for the card show. I am pretty much done updating I use Dropbox. I'm pretty much done updating my Dropbox, and can maybe share the link later on, or if not, you can see it on Saturday at the card show. Paul Cashman, I saw somewhere someone pulled the high gloss. I saw that too. That's a Lafreniere high gloss. Yeah, I just saw that this evening. We'll see if that person cashes in on one of the bounties. Terry, great to see you, buddy. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone. Anonymous Facebook user, I'm sure I know you, but excited to learn about COMC. Well, yeah, I mean, I've been using COMC since probably 2013, maybe 2012 even. And, you know, it's come a long way in all that time. Al G, welcome to the show. Great to see you. Very great to see you, Al. Let's see what else we have here. I want to say hello to Cardboard Max. Good evening to you, sir. Filmington. PSA handled this year pretty well in relative terms. You know, I've seen a lot of people posting returns of cards, and I'm surprised how fast they are saying they received them. So that makes sense to me, Filmington. Thanks for joining. Great to see you. Jeremy Pringle, good to see you, my man. Dominic LaRouche, good evening to you. Joey O'Hearn, no more vacations. Glad you're back. I don't have any more vacations planned right now, guys. We should be going for a while here now. So thanks for that, Joey. I appreciate it. Dustin, the personal finance dad, good evening to you. And I want to mention, guys, and I do this, but I do it because I believe in it. These are some of my favorite channels on YouTube. Dustin's the personal finance dad. Check it out. His videos are a lot shorter than mine, so they're a little bit more consumable. But he puts out lots. He's got about 300 videos on his channel right now. We'll go back up to Filmington. Check out his channel as well. I won't say an older channel, but you know, it's been around a lot longer than mine has, and one that I've been watching for a while. So check out Filmington. Check out the personal finance dad. I haven't seen any others yet up here, so we'll keep on rolling through here, guys. What's it? Facebook. Oh, hey, what's up, Barry? Good to see you're doing well. Yeah, Barry's doing well, I think, all things considered, right? It's Matt P. I'll probably show his anonymous. All right, Matt, welcome to the show. And Paul throws up, yeah, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, I'll be able to see your name better. Okay, we're at the bottom of the comments for now, Barry. So listen, man, I do like to take an opportunity to let the viewers get to know the guest a little bit most of the time. I do that. And so tell us a little bit, like, you know, how did you get into cards? I mentioned a little bit in the intro, but give us a kind of a quick summary on how you did get into cards when you were younger, and you know, what you're doing with them now.
Well, as you mentioned, I started when I was 9 years old in grade 3, and I carried someone's lunchbox, and he gave me a stack of cards, and I said, "Wow, I can't believe they made cards with the players I see on TV." And then I was absolutely hooked from that point on. And I didn't collect everything, but I collected some cards back in the day. Unfortunately, I moved from a small town of Lac La Biche, Alberta, home of Rene Bourque, and moved to Edmonton. So that was during 1979, and I did not collect or did not purchase a lot of cards back at that year. I later found out that year, when we moved, it was because my mom had ovarian cancer and needed to be in a big city of Edmonton to get her surgery done. So, of course, I would basically take her life over a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. But I did later on buy a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. That's another story. But then I basically collected cards up until, well, I continued collecting cards all the way through. I basically was collecting everything. I was a completist up until the point where I think it was like 1997, where I said, I can't do this anymore. They're just making too many cards. So basically cut down to my favorite team, the Red Wings. And now it's even becoming undaunting to collect every Red Wings card. So I'm basically pretty much like a value buyer of Red Wings cards. If it's at a good price, I'll buy it. But I don't really assemble and look for cards that I'm missing. It's just too big for me. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get it, dude. There's so many cards out there now. It's impossible to collect. Never mind everything. Being able to collect everything went away in about 1990. But even collecting all the cards of your favorite player or team it's just impossible these days. Which is a nice thing. It allows us to be selective and really curate our collections to our specific tastes, and not feeling like you have to own everything. I think that's something a lot of people, you know, they have trouble with not owning everything of their player. Those people who want, you know, those completionists anyway. Peter jumps in, says Barry's a great guy. Hopefully Barry is a great guy, very helpful at the shows when COMC is set up. And yeah, that's a good segue, Barry. So tell us a little bit about because you head up the COMC Canada office, but you obviously work pretty closely, I have to think, with your US counterparts. You're under the same banner for that, as far as representing COMC. And well, just quickly, Jeff McMahon, go Wings. So there you go. He's got the Detroit Tigers logo in his icon there. Great. So tell us a little about, how did you come, because I know the story, but I want you to tell it, because I really enjoyed it when you told it to me. How did you come to work at COMC?
Well, I worked for, I guess when I moved to Edmonton, well, let's move past that. When I moved to Vancouver, I started working for a big five bank in the back office, and that was, to be honest, I thought it was like my retirement job at 23, working all the way through. Unfortunately, after 23 years, they decided they didn't need my services, and I got laid off. But during like very late onwards in my banking career, around like 2008, 2009, I believe, I was going to card shows and buying cards, and Tim was actually set up at one of the bigger shows in Vancouver, some of the semi-annual shows. So he set up there, and
so sorry, let me just clarify. Yep. When you say Tim, you mean Tim Getch, who's the CEO, the founder, CEO of COMC. Okay.
Yes. So he would set up, and I would sometimes go and help a friend of mine, Sam, to set up at his table to help him out. And when Sam met Tim to find out what the concept was, he was so enamored with how COMC was set up that he was looking for an opportunity to partner with him. So whenever he found out that Tim was setting up at these Vancouver shows, he would ask the promoter Dale if he could set up right next to him. So basically, I got the benefit of being next to Tim through Sam, because Sam wants to build that relationship and see what opportunities he has to work with him for COMC. So I basically had developed a relationship, and I kept that relationship with him throughout this time, to the point where one day he was set up at the show here, and I said to Tim, I got laid off, and then Tim said, well, let me see what I could do. And a little bit later, Sam and I developed a proposal to Tim to open up a Canada office, and I thank Sam for doing this, but he actually went down to the US and made a proposal for him. I had to stay back and do my studies for my CMA. And when that presentation was made, Tim accepted it. And I think probably about a year later, Tim said, okay, let's do this. And from that, COMC Canada was born. And I've been working here for COMC Canada ever since.
So I kind of like, what I like about the story is that you guys went after it, and you set a goal, you went after it, you've made a proposal, and it was accepted. And now look at you, here we are 8 or so years later, and you're heading up the office there, and you made a career of it, and COMC is growing internationally. If you've crossed the border, so that's really cool, man. So let's talk a little bit about what you do at the expo, because I've seen the expo, the summit in Edmonton, the BOSA shows in BC. I've seen you guys set up at all these shows. Is it tougher to wrangle submissions in Canada than it is for you guys to do it in the US? And if so, what's the strategy then to build out? Like when you made the proposal to Tim to open up a Canadian office, what was kind of the plan or the mission in terms of what was the plan to prove yourself and to make it to make the investment worthwhile?
Well, opening up an office in Canada allows COMC to basically branch out into another country. It was COMC was still a growing company, but it had a fair footprint over there. And submissions have been steadily growing there, but in Canada it's a bit different. In Canada, there's not many people submitting cards through COMC because as Redmond would be the only office, you basically have to ship across border. So opening an office in Canada would help in terms of receiving submissions. Also, with Canada, we were able to shorten the amount of time for customers to receive their shipments by 2 weeks. Beforehand, it would be shipped through United States Postal Service, which takes about 4 weeks. But with the Canada office, we shortened that to about 2 weeks. So that's it was basically an inroad into Canada. We needed to do shows because COMC wasn't well known here, so we need to get ourselves out there. So we definitely want to go to the expo. 50% of the population in Canada resides within a 3-hour drive of Toronto. Vancouver is local, so we do those shows, and Edmonton is a short hop. And the other show that we would do is Montreal, and basically those four areas would basically cover pretty much most of Canada. Like if anyone was to go to a major show, they would probably go to one of those shows. So it's all about getting our name out there and putting us out and getting our name out there. And it's actually more of letting people know about buying opportunities. Like we at the beginning, it was about like soliciting like consignments and selling, but now we're sort of like focused on letting people know about what great a company we are in terms of helping people buy cards and save money on shipping.
So talk a little bit about the hustle. I mean, because I've seen you at the show and I've seen you hustling around for submissions.
Yep.
Getting out there, meeting the people. Talk a bit about your experience being at the expo, walking the aisles, and, is part of your job to hustle for submissions. And, obviously you could sit at your booth at the expo the whole time and just wait for people to come up to you. But I've seen you out there. Talk a bit about that.
Well, at the very beginning, when we were in our infancy, when we go to the expo, we basically need to, sort of pay our way. So we had to sort of make sure that we got enough submissions that would cover all of our expenses. So it was very important that we reach out to all the dealers that were there. Dealers pretty much would have relatively speaking, the largest inventory that would be consigned to us. So we're looking at the dealers in terms of like getting submissions. So it was a matter of like making contacts with the folks. And when I met Jeremy at the expo, he had his Stefano Newman shirt, and Jeremy was one of the biggest promoters or cheerleaders of COMC at the very beginning. And it was great to know someone like Jeremy who supported our company from the very beginning. And the hustle changed to like business and friendship and relationship building. And it was very important to me to sort of, meet these, like I consider Jeremy to be a friend. I consider like Wayne Fraser and all the people that I see at the expo, and Edmonton and Vancouver and Montreal to be friends now. And it's great to meet them every time. And basically, once we set that relationship, we don't really have to necessarily ask you for submissions. We're just there, just to make sure that I want to be there just in case you don't have time to deal with the submission, and make sure everything's okay with you in terms of like COMC, and make sure that we have that relationship. And if you need anything, I am we do have the customer service, but if you have any questions, I'm there for you. So I basically want to portray myself as being developing that relationship, that if there's anything that you need, I will help you. I will take care of you.
Yeah. And I mean, I can speak to that a bit just as a customer. You said that I was one of the biggest cheerleaders in the early days, and that's true. And the reason was because I first discovered COMC at the National, and probably I said to Tim a long time ago, I think it was 2008, but he might have corrected me, and we said we weren't there that year or something. So it might have been 9 or 10, whenever it was. And I thought, there's no way I'm giving my cards to this guy. That was my first thing. Why would I give him my cards? But then I saw him was set up at I believe it was the Summit show in Edmonton,
Yep.
and I'm friends with the promoter, so got to go for dinner and got to know the people behind the brand. And to me, that's so important because and right now, I'll just say it, like right now we hear so many people venting frustration about so many different things in the hobby and elsewhere. And it's like, once you get to know the people behind the company, behind the brand, behind the emails, behind the customer service numbers, I think that you become more sympathetic when you get to know them as people. And especially if you become friends with them, like you just mentioned. And let's face it, we're at these card shows, seeing these people, seeing our fellow hobbyists, probably more than we see some of our family and long-term friends. So we do become friends. We do develop these relationships, and it's what makes the hobby so great. Outside of the awesome cards we get to collect are the relationships. And so I was a cheerleader from the beginning because I got to know Tim and Julia. Tim's the CEO, Julia's the president. I met both of them, got to spend time with them, and I realized pretty quickly that smart people that I can trust, which is super important if you're trusting them with your cards. And so that's why I'm not a cheerleader. I wasn't a cheerleader for any reason other than I thought the service was great and the people were great. And so I gave it a try. And then I realized that the service was great, because as soon as I submitted my first batch and then I priced them. Before I was done pricing, I had sold a bunch of cards. I thought, whoa, that's pretty cool. I've already sold whatever it was, $100 worth of cards. And now I can go shopping on COMC with my credit. But I also want to mention that at the Expo, the Summit, the BOSA shows, at all these shows, anyway, and the National for that matter, what I've done, and this is kind of a tip to people watching, and I know Amit's joined us now. I says, "Oh my God, the amazing Barry." Welcome, Amit. And Amit and I sat up next to each other at the Expo, which you're well aware of, Barry. And the last thing I do at the Expo is I do my submission to you, and I just kind of give you all these cards. And throughout the show, I'm looking for cards, and I know Amit does too. We're on the lookout for cards that we might not otherwise acquire, but because of COMC, we will consider acquiring them and then submitting them to you and selling them through that format. Which it just depends on your strategy, what cards you want to sell through COMC, but. It's been a great way for me to turn cards that I don't want anymore, cards that I don't want to own personally, or cards that I don't want to have to try to sell one at a time myself, submit them to you, generate the store credit, and then buy better cards. And I really like that. Works very well for me. So it's been really good for my collection, and I've had a great time doing it over the years. I just see a comment that comes in. Do we really want to stoke up his ego that much? Amazing. I don't understand the amazing comment, but I mean, do we want to stoke up his ego? I don't know that we're stoking up your ego, Barry, but I have no problem paying compliments and speaking my truth when I feel it. So yeah, I guess we do want to do that. Okay. So I think it's great that you got the Canadian office going. It's great that you guys have presence at the shows. Is it the same thing for the company at the National? Like, do you guys, let me rephrase it. When I see you guys at the National, you have a huge booth. You've got games going on, all these sorts of things. It's a lot of fun. Is the National a main venue or channel for you guys to generate submissions in the US as well, similar to the way it is in Canada? Or would you say it's a little bit less important, if that's a proper way to put it?
I would say it's less important now than before, only because in the US they are getting so much volumes through the mail system. So I would probably say it's more of being out there and showing the face of the company and answering questions that people have, and basically as an addition, we would accept submissions at the National. It doesn't play as an important role in the US relative to in Canada. I know in Canada the shipping rates are expensive relative to the United States. So I do understand people saving their cards and waiting for us to go to the Expo or to send us their cards to save money on shipping. So we sort of get in terms of our volumes here, we're basically pretty much like peaks and valleys, and the expo is a major venue for getting cards for processing for us. So we basically get two big spikes a year, which we don't really have now because we don't have the expo because of COVID.
Yeah, no, we're all well aware of that for sure. And I do want to ask you, but I'll ask you a little bit later, kind of what you're doing to, to make up for the loss in submissions because of these shows not happening. But we can get to that a little bit later. I want to bring up Jason says, evening guys, love COMC. My order just shipped today. So thank you. Love my break times. LOL. Thank you, Jason. Jason is a good buddy of mine, a chef in Banff, Alberta, one of the best ski resorts in the world. Here's a question from Terry Barry, and this is an interesting one. It says, do you feel that COMC is losing business due to the newer state tax charge to ship to our mailboxes? Other competitors have cropped up in the States with no sales tax, e.g. get it shipped, or maybe it was ship my cards, he goes on to say. What can you tell us about that?
So what I can tell you, so I'll go 10,000 feet higher in terms of our expansion. So, because of the card market right now, COMC is making more this year than last year, but all the money is being reinvested so that we could grow and basically support ourselves better. So part of that is basically like looking for additional locations around in Washington State, it's called the Puget Sound area. So they are looking at possibilities of opening up offices in Portland. So I understand that Portland has no sales tax. We are looking at possibilities of opening up an office in North Carolina and expanding in Dallas and expanding in around where we are in Burnaby. So those are those are in the, like, when I say looking, it's not official, but there is serious, especially the Portland area. We're very serious about looking at an office over there to support our growing business.
Okay, well that's good to hear. I have it sort of next on my notes was to talk to you about the COMC footprint, really so we can all get an understanding of where are you guys, how many are you guys, that sort of thing. So let's talk about that very quickly. You just mentioned Redmond. You meant that you have an office in Redmond right now. Redmond is in Washington State, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's headquarters. That's where Tim works out of.
Yes.
Then you have your office in Burnaby, BC, which is sort of right outside Vancouver for anybody who isn't familiar with Burnaby. And then you also have something in the Seattle area right now. I forget what you have there.
We have a warehouse in South Seattle that houses all the inventory.
Okay.
And we have a tiny office where the loquacious Rich Klein works from.
I was just going to say that myself. Yes. The loquacious Rich Klein. So Rich Klein, well known in the hobby. He's been a hobby stalwart for a long time now, and he's actually. I'll quickly give a plug to another YouTube channel, Hobby Hotline, which is Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, where both Rich and myself are sort of intermittent co-hosts, if you will. So check that out, everybody. Check out Hobby Hotline if you haven't yet. It's a fun show, and they're on every Saturday morning, like I said. And when I say they, Dr. James Beckett is also a rotating co-host. So is Brian Gray. So is Brody the Kid, John Newman, Drew Herndon. There's a bunch of guys, including myself. Ziggy does it too, that go on there and co-host every so often. So check it out, guys. Just want to mention that quickly. So what about people? Tell us a little bit about people. How many, I think about COMC, I don't know how many people work there. Okay, full transparency, I do, because we've discussed this. But people, before we discuss it, I wouldn't know how many people worked at COMC. How many people work there, Barry?
Wow, when I'm basically the person who prepares like the COMC internal newsletter. So when I would send it out at the beginning of the year, I would see like uh 96 recipients, and now when I send the email, there's almost 160 recipients. So we are very close to doubling our staff, and we are our goal is to have 200 people working for the company by the end of the year. We are hiring people as fast as we can to keep up with the volumes that are coming in.
Okay, well, that's good. So you're at around 160 now. The goal to get to 200. That's 40 people. That's a lot of bodies to add. It's not easy. It's not cheap to add people. There's training and all that happens. So, and when you're training, you're actually taking time away from the trainers from doing their regular job, but it's all an investment into getting things a little bit more efficient down the road and being able to satisfy the customers. So I certainly support that. I know what that's like from a business perspective, and happens in my business all the time. I work in we work in a high turnover industry ourselves, being in retail. So it just happens. Amit says that Barry was relentless. He convinced me to go to the dark side. So I remember that, because setting up next to Amit at the expo, I would always see you. You'd come by my booth, Barry, and I'd offload a bunch of cards to you, and I'd say to Amit, man, because Amit's got way more inventory than I do on a pure volume basis. I'd say, Amit, you got to give these to COMC, sell them there. It'll take all this work off your plate. And he was hesitant for a while. Finally, he did it. Now he's one of the biggest sellers on COMC in the hockey area, at least. I know he's got in all four sports, but he's the second or third biggest seller on there as far as hockey cards go. So he went over to the dark side, but if you talk to Amit, he'll tell you he's been very successful with it. So I think he's happy to have turned to the dark side. Let's see what we got. Some more comments coming in here, Barry. So I just want to address some of these. The Card Boys wants to know, does COMC offer a Canadian drop-off location other than the expo?
If we do trade shows, we accept drop-offs.
So it's either at a card show type of thing, or that's it. Would you accept them at your at your Burnaby, BC office?
Oh, sorry. I would say we can. We just need to adhere to COVID restrictions. So I would highly recommend during this time that you don't drop it off, because it's the weather is getting worse. We don't want production to stop here for any reason. But if I would be fine if a drop off was on a not rainy day, because basically you have to leave it on the ground outside, and we basically then have to put on our PPE gear and pick it up and bring it in, and we let it sit there for a little while and before we process it. So
during COVID, it's a pain, but outside of COVID, you will accept submissions at the office in addition to the card shows.
Yes, we've always done that. Yes, in the past.
Awesome.
It's just during this time it's not too ideal.
Okay, so there you go, Card Boys. Hope that answers your question. I guess right now it's tough because of COVID, but in the absence of COVID, there's many more opportunities. And as a COMC user, I've never sent them cards. I've only ever submitted in person at a card show. That works for me because I'm at the card shows. Slow Pitch Fanatic, yes, Barry. So there we go. Thank you, Slow Pitch. Appreciate that. Amit wants to mention you can ship to COMC via the submission process. Of course you can. Yamwax, welcome to the show. Corey says, I've been seriously impressed with the COMC experience, especially when buying bunches of singles. Yeah, I've been impressed by it myself for 8 or 9 years as well. So I get that, Yamwax. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you, my friend. Amit says, I may know more about COMC than Barry does. Haha, yeah, I'm so sure. Amit's like, he's a super user, so for sure. Yam goes on to say, e-commerce and fulfillment at this scale is tougher than most realize. And you know what? That's a really astute and important comment, especially in the world of COVID, when there are so many people complaining and venting their frustrations. And again, we sympathize with it, but I think we have to collectively sympathize with all businesses, especially when people have to call in sick because of health requirements or regulations. And the advice given by the authorities. So, but anyway, we've talked about that enough already. Yes, Amit, you've taught Barry a thing or two. The loquacious Rich Klein. Thank you, Paul. An anonymous Facebook user says, Barry, I might have missed this, but what's the submission turnaround in Canada right now? Can you speak to that?
Well, right now, the 12-week standards have been suspended, and we are able to keep up with the 3-week current year and the basic 3-week processing. So we don't have a backlog in Canada. We may miss some because the identification, the end process is being handled in the United States. So there could be some cards that are missed, but for the vast majority of cards, we basically have done our part within the time limits that are provided.
Okay, well that's good to hear. And so when you say that that you don't have a backlog in Canada, that then tells me that you might have some capacity. Are you guys taking some of that capacity in Canada, if I'm right about that, and helping out the US operations to help them get through their backlog?
Without the card shows and getting the submissions, we basically lost the 12-week standard suspension. We basically lost a lot of our processing revenue. So one of the things that we've done is we are having our Redmond office export submissions to us, and we would image them and send the cards back. So we are actually helping them with their backlog. We have I would say pretty close to have processed almost 500,000 cards up here on behalf of the headquarters.
Wow. So so you guys really are pitching in and helping out down there, because it speaks to my curiosity earlier too about like how autonomous is the Canadian office from the US office? Like, are you completely autonomous? How do you communicate regularly as if you were just on a separate floor in the same building as them? And from the sounds of it, and those aren't really questions you need to answer, just more or less just for discussion, but it tells me that you guys are helping out, and I think that's wonderful because you got the manpower. If you have the capacity, because you're not pulling in submissions from the Canadian shows, that just makes good sense. So I'm glad to hear that. Okay, I'm going to look at a few more comments we have coming in here because we do have several now. Terry just wants to say thank you for considering some alternatives. Thank you, Terry. This must be Rich Klein right here. He says we have 2 other Dallas members that might be of the customer service team. I'm not 100% sure what he's getting at there, but potentially that. And then I think this might be him still. Says Stefan and Angela work there as well from home now, and someone in customer service was just hired as well from Dallas Fort Worth area. So speaking to the fact that you guys are ramping up your staff, you're obviously not oblivious to the fact that things are slower for you and that customers are frustrated. You obviously know that. So by responding and bringing in more people, you're just doing what a business should be doing, I believe. So, and never mind, it's challenging to do that in these times. So I wish you guys luck with that, as I said earlier, and success. Legion, want to say welcome to you. Great to see you. It's been a while. I feel like it's been so long taking a week off the show. Slow pitch fanatic. It's Kent. Love the show. Thank you, Kent. Kent sets up with Amit right next to me. Okay, now I know. Great to see you, Kent, and thank you for identifying yourself, my man. Awesome. Okay. This is an interesting question. So, and I don't know who it is, but it's a great question, Barry. So he asks, could you please talk about the process of submitting cards? How do customers know the values of cards to send in? I'm very new to this. So Barry, I'll ask you to don't get too terribly long-winded here, because we're not doing a seminar on submitting to COMC, but I do want you to provide the basic information to this viewer so we can at least help them out.
I would say we are a great platform to sell cards that are probably $2 and above, even better $5 and above. And this was going to be one of my tips and tricks. But unless you're submitting, if you're submitting commons that are current year, I do not recommend submitting commons from previous years. And it's basically all in terms of like a business sense. So if you have like a 200 card set of commons, it takes a long time for you to flip all those cards. And when you're paying 35 cents per card for 200 commons, you would get the periodic sales, and maybe if you're lucky, someone's missing a whole bunch of cards in the set and will pick up a few. I've learned my lesson in terms of submitting a complete base set. It just basically trickles very, very slow, and it takes a long time for your inventory to turn over. And I don't know whether or not that would be a very good idea to wait that long for you to get revenue on your commons when you're already putting in like 35 cents up front for that processing. So you just want to put cards that you can basically turn over and get your money or turn over and get cards that you want.
So let's talk a little bit about the actual process of sending them in, because when I think about a submission, and a lot of people watching right now have done submissions to the grading companies where you have to take the forms, you have to fill them out in great detail, card number, player name, set, year, value, and then the forms of how you're going to pay and all this stuff. But what I find with COMC is that it's much simpler, because you don't have to, you just put the cards in the box, in the card box. Know how many, I mean, I've often estimated, okay, here's a 400 count box, some thick cards. So I got 300 cards in here. I'll put that on there. And you just send them off. You don't have to organize them. You don't have to label them. You don't have to write down anything or fill out any forms other than your name, your username, and how many cards you're sending in. The submission and when I do it at every card show I go to, pretty much every card show I go to, I submit cards to COMC. It's like I said, it's kind of the last thing I do. And Barry I'll tell you, and Barry will concur. He sat there waiting for me to finish up other business at the card show until I'm ready to give him my submission. Now, I'm not recommending everybody does that, because Barry will never get out of there. But it's very convenient to just put your cards in the box. If you count them, even better. And I know they do prefer if you count them and know exactly how many you're submitting. And that's not all that tough to do. But if you do, count your cards, put them in the box, and they will process them. They have some, I've never seen it, I don't know what it is, it's proprietary, but they apparently have some really great technology that will process your cards, faster than a guy like me or you out there viewing, sitting there and scanning one card at a time in your scanner, or even 4 or 8 or whatever it may be. So the submission process is very convenient, very easy. It takes almost like there's very little pen to paper, if you will. So, and I want to add to what you said, Barry, about the what value cards to submit. I've had success with you said $2 up. I've had success right in there. Some cards are even a little bit cheaper, but if you're going to put in cards that are worth, 50 cents to $2, you want to look at COMC first and see if there's already 5, 10, 50 copies of that card on there. Because if there are, you might not sell yours for a while. So you want to do a bit of research up front if you have the time, to make sure that you're not just the 21st or the 51st card in the system.
Yes. So, I do not recommend you sending in 91, 92 Upper Deck Ziggy Palfy cards.
Right, for sure not. Okay. All right. I hope that answers the question that's on the screen right now to the Facebook user who's a member of the Sports Cards Live Facebook group, and we greatly appreciate you tuning in. Okay, Barry, we have more questions here. Here's a quick one on shipping time, which hopefully you can address. Gareth says, I'm not sure if it's been asked, but what is the average time it takes to ship cards from COMC economy shipping back to the buyer at the moment? Do you happen to have a gauge on that, Barry?
I can only speak for Canada. So Canada for economy is roughly 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, so right now, by being on our show, we're slowing down the process. I'm kidding. This is after office hours. You need to, you deserve to, you better have some balance in your life as well, Barry, even in these tough times and when there's backlog in the U.S. office for sure. But okay, Steph, I think a coworker of yours. Howdy, Barry. How's Burnaby? Thank you for joining, Stefan. Great to have you. Paul Cashman says, what's the best way to submit cards? In a top loader, penny sleeve, submission sleeve, I think being sort of a semi-rigid type of thing. How do you guys prefer to receive cards? Great question, by the way.
I would say, if I took my COMC hat off, I would say the best way to do it is to ship them in penny sleeves. But if you have expensive cards that are valued, like if it's going through the elite service, those expensive cards, we prefer to be top loaded, because we know they need to be handled with care. So we do not, as the post office being a third party carrier or third person, we want to make sure that there's nothing that goes wrong when you hand it off to them before it gets to us.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Okay, so you mentioned before, when we were talking about real estate and locations, you mentioned North Carolina, which, I mean, okay, again, full transparency, we chatted, so I have a bit of an insight into that. But if I didn't have that direct insight, I would still have it, because I recognize that Upper Deck has facilities in North Carolina as well. So, you know, obviously COMC and Upper Deck have a relationship because of the EPAC integration. And I was curious, how much does that partnership with Upper Deck, you know, kind of steer the strategy at COMC? And now you mentioned North Carolina is opening in North. Is that as obvious as it seems to me? Is it simply, are you guys looking at North Carolina for space because that's where Upper Deck has facilities?
Yes, I can't put it any simpler than that. I would also say on the flip side, our relationship with Upper Deck was solidified because of the fact that COMC Canada was here. Because we basically provided an inroad for their EPAC program, and Upper Deck has the exclusive license to the NHL, and being Canada we're all passionate about hockey. It enabled them to be able to sell their EPAC product and have it shipped to Canada through us in COMC Canada. Okay. So there's mutual benefits here. Yes. Yeah.
So does, aside from location and you know, taking some office space or warehouse space in North Carolina, does the relationship with EPAC, you know, is it, I guess I'm trying to get a feel for, and I don't want any, you know, trade secrets or anything like that. Well, I might want them, but I don't expect them. How important is that to COMC? How important is this EPAC integration? And are you guys looking to expand it from Upper Deck to any other, you know, I could say to Tops or Panini or Leaf or anything else. Are there, you know, is that sort of in the pipeline at all to your knowing? Knowledge?
I don't have any knowledge of that, but you know, we want to continue to work with Upper Deck to deliver our service to them, and if there is, and based upon our success, it basically opens up other avenues for potentially other manufacturers to that we can provide service to.
Okay, and I think that makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense if you have the processes, the technology, if you have the real estate and the people. And of course, you know, in the absence of COVID, it'll make it easier to expand that model, that business model that you've applied with them. It only makes sense to me, especially if the COMC kind of vision is to continue to grow, which I do want to ask you about that a little bit later. Chris, sorry, where to go? Right here. Chris West says, remember to double box your shipments with padding. Just some advice to everybody out there who might be sending cards in. Okay, and then Legion has a comment here. I want to throw this up. I'll read it out loud. He says, on Upper Deck EPAC, we often use the term race to the bottom for COMC pricing on EPAC releases. Are there any sets that buck that trend, as in they sell fast enough to absorb the higher number of submissions? So Barry, I mean, I hear what he's saying, and I've heard the, you know, and to Legion's comment, I've heard it said many times that some cards on COMC can simply be a race to the bottom, where I've got cards on COMC that I have priced at 7, 8, and 9 cents, and I paid 25 or 35 cents to get them in there. So I'm going to lose money on them. But that's because I didn't do the research up front to realize that, well, there's already 50 copies on there. I shouldn't have sent the card in. And now it's like, I'll either just, race to the bottom because I don't care. I want to get rid of it. Or you guys have another awesome feature that you can do, which is donate to charity. And I've done that on several cards because I just don't want to see them in my portfolio anymore. So I'll donate them to charity, and hopefully something sells. Hopefully they sell, and that money goes to good use. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But to Legion's question, can you kind of classify or like define a class of card that isn't a race to the bottom, that might be but I'm not talking about like rare numbered cards. I'm talking about commodity type high volume cards that are not in that sort of race to the bottom sort of position.
The only cards that would probably buck the trend would be the ones that come to the top of my head would be the young guns. And it would basically be, if like as soon as an EPAC product is released, there's tons of it that gets broken. There's tons of it that gets released on our website. If you have the knowledge of what players you can prospect on, you could do well. Like for instance, Nick Suzuki cards, rookie cards, were selling for $10 on COMC for the longest time, and now it's all the way up to like I think $40. So if you had the foresight to buy Nick Suzuki cards at that time, you're making like 300-400% profit on that. And there's other young guns that are out there that you can basically buy when the market gets flooded, and just let attrition takes place, and as soon as these players sort of like ripen to the point where they're productive, then you can really do well on those.
How does Prism basketball go? Like the base Prism rookies and the silver Prism rookies in basketball, how do they move? Because I'll admit, I don't look at basketball on COMC. I pretty much just look at hockey. But once in a while, I'll delve out into the others. But I don't know. I just don't get in there as often as I could, perhaps. So I asked the question very genuinely: how does Prism do? Prism basketball, and even Prism football and soccer, for that matter.
I'll be honest. I'm not a basketball person either. I'm basically stick with hockey. But generally, I have to sort of speak generally speaking here. It's not much different from other sports. Like people would prospect on cards, and basketball season's about to start, and people will start buying those cards right now before the season starts, and as soon as it gets going, when players perform, prices go up. So so the cards will sell. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Legion, I hope that addressed your question. I think it's tough because the question sort of assumes that we can, or Barry can kind of go through the Rolodex of sets in his head. And that's why I probed on the Prism, because I thought that might be one where that it's just so hot that wherever it's listed, whether it's COMC, eBay, or elsewhere, those cards tend to move. Luke has a really good question. Is there a way to check how long a card has been in the COMC inventory? This is something I've wondered myself.
Direct answer is no. Indirect answer is if you look at the item number, you can sort of see like how old, the lower the number, the longer it's been in inventory. So if you look at a recently added item, you'll see an item number, and you'll sort of see, okay, this is like, let's say number 20 million, and you can go see another item, and that number is like 1.5 million. So you can sort of guess as to how long ago that card was added to inventory.
Did it start at card 1000?
Yes,
it did.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
That's nuts. I wonder. I'd be curious to know, just for trivial sake, what is the oldest? What's the number of the oldest? What's the lowest number currently in the system? I don't know that you just can rattle that off, but I'd be really interested to know that. Another thing I'll say to Luke, what I do is I always, when I search in COMC, I always sort by recently added. And so you can just, the further back it is, the older or the longer it's been in inventory, but you still can't pinpoint it to an exact day, month, or year. You just know relative to other cards how long it's been there. So, okay, great. Ziggy, welcome to the show. Good evening. Great to have you back. Thank you so much. Hope you had an excellent time. I was busy, but thank you, Ziggy. He goes on, and check out Ziggy Knows Sports Cards Daily. Ziggy does about a 10-minute video every day, kind of getting you all caught up on what's happening in the hobby, from releases to content to other things as well. So check that out. He goes on to say, has COMC considered bringing back the ability to submit cards to grading companies? I'll leave that one with you, Barry.
Considering, yes. Timeline, don't know.
Okay. That's it. But is it something, Barry, that you see definitely happening on the horizon, whether that's a month or 2 years down the road?
Absolutely. I'll give you some sort of insight. I sort of see where COMC is heading as being a fully integrated company in terms of servicing the customer. So, basically submit a card to us. You can basically exchange the card, send it to grading. Everything that can happen without you touching the card. So that's what I sort of see the companies heading towards.
And that's that was one of my questions was, what's the long-term vision for COMC? Are you guys happy with the status quo, or are you guys looking to add different service lines, grow internationally, that sort of thing? I mean, seeing how far the company has come from when I first met Tim and Julia and was aware of the brand, almost 10 years ago, whatever it was, my expectation is that there's bigger visions out there. And so can you kind of confirm or deny that?
Oh, yes. We do have, I guess one of the, if we're looking long term, we of course would like to have offices in other countries other than in the United States and Canada. When that would happen, I don't know. But there is I think at this point, we because of the heat of the market, we don't really want to forecast too far. We I don't want to say we're looking down 5 years down the line. Our main concern is pretty much probably no further than 3 months. But basically, our goal right now is basically to clear out that backlog that we have, and we're putting all our efforts into that. But on a terms of a balanced approach, I'm unfortunately, I have to say it's unrealistic for everyone to go and help with shipping. We do have it's a balanced approach, but we are definitely putting more resources into that.
Well, I think a lot of people will be happy to hear that, and that you guys do consider it to be a priority. I think that's going to make a lot of people happy, and the time is what it is. So, okay. Facebook user says, are there processing fees for using COMC? I'd like to direct this kind of question to your website, which I'll put up right now, and it's comc.com. So to this person, go check out the website, look at the FAQ, look at that sort of thing. You'll get all the fees there. The short answer is yes. These guys don't work for free, and there are processing fees. And when I first started using COMC, I thought, wow, what a deal, because I don't now need to scan, fill out the eBay template, worry about feedback, worry about negative feedback, worry about cards not getting there, all these things. And for 35 cents a card, and back then it was even cheaper, there's been inflation. I was like, wow, this is a great deal. And I don't want to say that too much because I don't want you guys to raise your prices. But anyway, the answer is yes, there are, and I almost want to say, of course, there's processing fees. Amish Dave Archer, guys, check out the YouTube channel by the same name, Amish Dave Archer, especially if you like marathon type of live streams. But welcome to the show, Dave. Let's see here. Gareth says, does COMC plan on bringing back the grading service with PSA again? Now the PSA has a dealer partner program, and COMC could offer a chance of getting grades back faster than the average submitter. Interesting question. We've addressed that already, so we'll just go on. But thanks for the comment, Gareth. I think we did address that already. This must be Rich. Rich says, okay, we'll listen in depth sometime tomorrow. Keep going, Barry, and be as loquacious as I am. Well, thanks for joining, Rich. If you're still here, that's already 11 minutes ago, so you're probably gone. Amit jumps in and says, shipping items to COMC is key. It's best to ensure that it's packed securely. I'm sure the guys at COMC laugh at my packaging. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Peter says, the race to the bottom is young guns. As a set collector, I love it for common. So that's one thing. That's the other side of it, right, Barry, is that for people that want to do their set every year, COMC is a great place to capitalize on the people that are racing to that bottom. And now I'm not saying this is a great scenario for the hobby, but it's reality. And so if that's the case, you can, COMC is, I've heard many people say it. I say it myself, if, and I still pick away at some sets that are very, cheap, if you will, $5, like, 50 cent to $10 cards. And I go to COMC and check on them regularly to see if there's been anything added. Let's see what else we have here. I see Amit's pounding away at the comments. He says, I've seen the race to the bottom in some sets come back up, like Fanimation hockey cards. McDavid went to $10 all the way back to 50 plus. I wonder which Fanimation he's talking about, Barry, because the newer Fanimations that come out in Upper Deck Series 1 and 2, you can't get into the McDavid for under $300. He might be talking about those ones that came out in the 90s that were actual like superhero type art. But in any event, Ziggy, great. Thank you very much. Great to hear. Excited for grading in. Great. That's awesome. Luke, thanks. You're welcome for the answer, Luke. Thank you for sticking around for it. And Ground Zero, I don't understand this question, Barry. Maybe you do, but he says, can we get shipping at a normal rate? So what I don't know what you mean by that, Ground Zero, in terms of a normal price. So we'll just skip it. Okay. So Barry, let's get into your tips and tricks. We've kind of danced around it a little bit so far in terms of how to ship and, race to the bottom and the best cards to buy in COMC, but you're not only an employee at COMC. And I want, because I just noticed it as I'm looking at myself on the screen here. Because you sent me this shirt. Flip your next card on COMC. So as I say to everyone who comes on, if you send me a shirt, I'll wear it during the episode. And you did that. So thank you very much. And it's a very comfortable shirt too. I must say it's a very nice fabric. You guys didn't cheap out on these. So thank you for that. Let's get into some tips and tricks, Barry. What can you share with viewers and people that might already be using COMC in terms of how to best exploit the system? But before you do, Amit did clarify and said, sorry, Provisions, not Fanimation. Come on, Amit, you're a card expert. You should get it right the first time. All right. Thanks for the clarification, Amit. So Barry, tips and tricks. Have at her.
Okay. So I think some of you may already know this. So I'll just put it out there for those. And then, if it's something new, that's great. Basically taking all my strategies away now. So the one thing is that you could do is, if you see something that you like, make sure you have an account first, and make sure you have funds in your account. Put it in your cart, and when you go into your cart and you see that item there, you put in the offer 1 penny. And that will basically tell you what percentage of an offer that person can take. And then you can basically use that to your advantage in terms of making, what offer that they're willing to accept. So, if they price at $10 and you put 0.01 and it says $5 that they'll only accept, that means they'll accept offers up to 50% off. So that basically will give you a gauge in terms of like what price that you can offer them.
Can I jump in? Let me jump in quickly, Barry, because I've been using this since the beginning of time with COMC, where, when I realized that you could do this. So I just want to explain to people that the sellers will have their cards priced, whatever, say it's priced at $100, and you think, oh, I don't want to pay $100. You can make an offer, and some people have it set to automatically accept an offer to a certain level. But if you want to know what their minimum offer is, they will accept. I usually just put in $1 because, that's usually low enough. I don't necessarily go down to penny. I'll put in $1. And then it'll right away, it'll say this seller will only consider offers at a minimum of $60. So now I know, okay, let's try 60. And then they may accept it, or they may come back with a counter offer. So I always do that to figure out the floor of what lowest offer is that I can make. And I'll just mention, as a seller on COMC, I have my offer, I believe, set, because I have my cards priced pretty competitively. So I have my lowest offer is at like 93% of my asking price, and my automatic accept is at like 97 or 96% of my asking price. But again, I've got my cards pretty low already, so I don't want to take much lower than I already have. But some people have their cards priced super high. Sometimes some would say COMC is notorious for that, where you've got cards priced at 10 times their fair value. And that's just unfortunate in a lot of cases. But when it happens, if someone has their cards priced at, say, twice what they're worth, you can put in $1. So the card's worth 100, they're asking 200, you put in $1 and it'll right away tell you, well, sorry, you can only submit an offer at a minimum of, say, $100, and you can go from there. So I just wanted to add my perspective to that, Barry, but I'll let you get on to your next tip and trick.
The next trick is, like, if you see a card like that you're interested in to let's say to flip, one of the things that when you go in to view all the cards is on the left margin, it basically gives you all the other sellers of the same card. And to one of the nice things is that you could basically maximize your margins by looking at these cards and seeing what the next card is priced. So you could basically see a card that's, let's say, priced at $4, but the next lowest price would be $8. So basically you can buy that card at $4 right away, and then you got a $4 margin to build to be the lowest price card then. So the wider the margin is, the better the opportunity to make that flip. And also, if someone else posts another card, then you at that price that you post at, you can basically then lower your card, so to the point where you still become the lowest card, and although you still have a smaller margin, but you still got that space there if you first buy that card with the largest margin possible.
Great tip, one that I don't use. I've seen a lot of promotion by COMC on social media, and if you're not, like, it's on there right now, guys. If you're not following them on Twitter and Instagram, I recommend you do. And if you do, and you do a flip, so you buy a card for $1, you flip it for $2, and you share it on Instagram, the COMC Instagram account will often share your post, which is kind of cool. It helps you build up your followership on Instagram if that's something you're into. It's not something that I do. I don't use COMC personally to flip. It's just I just don't use it for that. But I know a lot of people do, and it's a lot of people. I don't want to say make a living doing it, but maybe some actually do. And so there is opportunity for that sort. I think it's almost like arbitrage what you're getting at, which is fine and fair. So, okay, very cool. Yeah, and I'll just put out there, Legion, always so supportive, says hit that thumbs up, folks. It costs nothing and helps spread the word. Yes, I appreciate it. If you're watching the video, please hit the thumbs up on YouTube to this, guys. It's just nice to see those likes. And if you're not yet subscribed to the Sports Cards Live YouTube channel and you have at all enjoyed the show tonight, even if you haven't enjoyed the show, even if you don't like me, you think I'm annoying as you know what, still subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And it's just nice to see. It does help build the channel, and I think it helps support the hobby. So please go ahead and do that. Thank you, Legion. Okay, Barry, another tip or trick.
I guess one thing that I do so that sort of gets me into trouble when my browser updates is that I basically throw everything in my cart as opposed to using the watch list. And sometimes everything in your cart disappears and everything is gone. But now that Black Friday is coming up, you want to put those cards that you're interested in your cart, because as soon as Black Friday starts, you basically just want, as soon as those offers go in, they do their price reductions. As soon as you go in, you don't have time to put those things in your cart. You gotta have those things in your cart and and type in that value and just buy those cards before anyone else does. Because as soon as Black Friday starts, everything is basically flying off the shelves.
Yeah, and I've used the Black Friday sales promotion every year pretty much. It's my best weekend of the year selling cards from my inventory on COMC. I don't use the cart at all. Basically, I use the watch list. I carry 50 to 100 items in there at any given time, and I load it up and I watch in there for it, and right from there you can just kind of, it's a couple of clicks and you've bought the card if you so choose to. But what you're saying though, Barry, and this is a tip or trick I'm interested in, is for whatever reason, it's better to use the cart than the watch list. And outside of Black Friday, is it still better to use the cart than the watch list? Or is there the risk, like you were saying, that it could all disappear? And why does it disappear? Is that a technical glitch, or is it because the cards have sold to somebody else?
It's a technical glitch. I wouldn't say it's a technical glitch, but it's not COMC related, but it's more on your own computer when something happens with that. I like when you put stuff on your watch list, it's permanently in your account. My suggestion is, like, if you happen to be watching a bunch of cards from a particular seller, like let's say 4 or 5 that throughout the course of time that these people are going to put in a bigger sale than they normally have, and you have 5 items you're interested in, you want to have those cards in your cart as opposed to buying each one separately, because there's other people that may have those same cards in their cart and will buy right from under you. Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Do you have any more tips and tricks?
I can't give away all my trade secrets at this point in time.
Okay. So well, good. Those are 3 or 4 helpful tips. And my tip is, again, I view when I search within the hockey category, I search by recently added, so I can always see what's been there, because those are the ones that get snapped up. I know a lot of people do that, and I know, talking to Amit, he'll sit there, back when he was commuting to work, when he was going into work, he'd be on the train and he'd be hitting refresh and seeing what's loaded to look for those deals, right? So That's another tip, is search by recently added, and I've seen other people talk about searching by lowest or by biggest discount. That's another one that might be good to find some sales, because what happens is when you do a sale on COMC, whether it's Black Friday or any other sales promotion, you basically apply your discount to your whole portfolio, or to all the cards that you're willing to have live at the time. And that might include some cards that the seller might not really, have meant to discount that low. So that's another thing you can do, is search by biggest discount and look for some real bargains. Have you ever found that to be beneficial, Barry?
Yes, I agree. So I want to add on that. We're both thinking alike. So if you do find one card that was on sale and you bought, it doesn't hurt to go down that rabbit hole and look for other cards that seller have on sale, and basically dive in, because if they have one card, there's a high possibility that there's other cards that are fair, that are pretty good price. And that probably happened to me like a couple of days ago, where I found one card that was good, that I bought, and then all of a sudden I just went down that rabbit hole, and I found like 3 or 4 other cards that were also good, because if you sort of see one but you're not aware of the other, the only way that you're going to find is to basically go down there and search, and you never know what you're going to find, and worst case, you didn't find anything. Best case, you found more bargains that you ever anticipated.
You nailed it, man, because that's what I do. That exact process is, if I find a card I want that's in my watch list and I buy it and I see the prices come down, I buy it. The first thing I do is I make sure, okay, wait, who did I just buy that from? Because once you own it, it converts very quickly from someone else owning it to you owning it. And then it's like, wait, who did I just buy that from? So I would caution you to mentally note or write down the person you buy something from when you love the deal, and then go search the rest of their cards. I've done this a lot and bought more cards from them. What do you want to add in there?
So Jeremy, if you buy a card now, and you go back to your dashboard and you go search your all the cards that you purchased, you click that button and it opens up a page where all the cards you purchased. On the very right, it will show you who you bought the card from.
Yeah, no, you're good point. I knew that. I just sometimes that slips my mind, but yeah. Okay, yeah, fair point for sure. So yes, that's a great thing to do. Also, that's a great tip and trick, if you will. I want to take a second here and because I know people come and go throughout the episode, and there's people that have joined now that weren't here at the beginning, and I want to make a couple mentions that I made earlier on tonight to everyone who's just joined. First thing is the Sport Card Expo Virtual Edition is this weekend, November 21st and 22nd. I'm going to throw up the website right now. There you go. That's where you go, sportcardexpo.com. If you're not yet registered, it's free to register for the show and be an attendee. And I really want to, and I mean this, I want to invite everybody watching. If you're a viewer of the show, if you're a collector, if you're going to come to the expo, come to the Sports Card Live booth. I will be there throughout Saturday and Sunday, and I invite you to come hang out with me. I can have up to 10 people in the booth on screen with me at a time, and what a great opportunity to meet some of the viewers, kind of face to face. So if you're willing to do that, come hang out with me at the booth. It'll be a lot of fun, and it just adds to the experience for all of us. The show in June, I had people hanging out, and it just made it so much more enjoyable. So please come hang out at the Sport Card Expo, at the Sports Cards Live booth. I will be there, and we'll be glad to just chill out and get to know some of you guys. Also want to mention, the only time I won't be at my booth at the Sport Card Expo this weekend is on the Saturday at 3 o'clock, because I'm going to be hosting a panel on the main stage with the 2 new graders at CSG, Certified Sports Guarantee, which is a subsidiary or a division of of CGC, I believe, the comic book grading company, and other things as well. So they're coming into the sports card business. A lot of you have already heard about this, or they're coming to the sports card grading business under the CSG banner. And they've recently hired 2 graders who are formerly of Beckett, Andy Broom, and Weston Reeves. And these guys, I did meet with these guys today to kind of plan out the event on Saturday. So come check that out as well. That should be really interesting. And for anybody who saw the mock-up of their slab a few months ago that was put out there, they confirmed to me today that is not the slab. That is not the slab. It got a lot of negative feedback, and it never was intended to be the slab, apparently. That was just something that marketing put out. And so they're going to be unveiling the new slab this weekend at the expo, and I'm excited to see it. So come check that out. I'll be hosting it. We got a set of questions. We will be having some question and answers at the end as well. So Sport Card Expo, 3 o'clock Eastern, main stage. I will be hosting that with these guys. That should be awesome. And then they have agreed to come on Sports Cards Live as well. So they're going to be coming on the show with me at some point in January too, which should be a lot of fun as a follow-up. Otherwise, yeah, that's all I had. That's all I wanted to say about that for now. So thank you for letting me get that in there, guys. Really excited for the expo. I see a few comments coming through here. Amish Dave says the June expo was outstanding. I had an outstanding time. A lot of people did. So definitely come see that. Legion's looking forward to it. Great. Come on in. And it's video live streaming, as Carlos says, and welcome, Carlos. It's basically, I'm going to be sitting there just like this, live streaming for 2 straight days. And that's why I'm saying, like, come hang out with me. It makes for so much fun, and it was so much fun last time as well. Okay, I want to go back up to some other comments up here that have come in. Amit says, back to the tips and tricks. It's all about timing. You know, if you're at the right place at the right time, you're going to be able to exploit COMC for all that you can. And there's no reason not to do that. Andrew, welcome to the show, says, has there been discussion about a feature to mark sellers as favorites so that buyers can regularly check some sellers' inventories? Great question, Andrew. Barry, what can you say to that?
I'm not aware of it, but now that you mention it, I'm going to take note and fire it up the ladder. Yeah,
I think, Barry, and that's a request I would also make, because I've often bought things and forget, you know, I know I could go back into my history, but, you know, in the interest of efficiency, you just forget who it was and that sort of thing. But it would be nice to be able to save those sellers somewhere, just like we save certain cards. So great request, Andrew. I'm right with you on it. Sean Robb, welcome to the show, Sean. Sean had the joy, I would say, and it's funny, it might be somewhat controversial, because there was a card show in Dallas this past weekend, and Sean was there. I know Sean was there, hanging out with the loquacious Rich Klein. And anyway, Sean, hope you enjoyed the show and hope you stayed safe. He says, Barry, is it personally rewarding to see new users being created on COMC that you helped out with the process? That's a nice question. What do you think of that, Barry?
Is it personally rewarding? To a certain extent, yes. but I almost like to flip it around and say I'm happy that people have found COMC as to has found COMC to benefit them in their collecting endeavors, because you know, there's so many opportunities to buy cards, but and I figured, you know, you don't, it's not necessarily that you buy everything from COMC, but COMC should be in your equation in terms of something in your hobby experience. So I'm happy to see people you know, become users of COMC. It's great. I do get some benefit. I am happy about it. It's rewarding, but I am more happy that they're benefiting from it.
That's great. And that right there is, I think, what Sean is getting at. What I was hoping to hear is that, yeah, when you onboard somebody onto the system and they are using it and benefiting from it, that is personally rewarding for you, right? I mean, of course it is. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I just like that, man. It shows that you're vested, and that's important, as heading up the Canadian office and supporting the US office when they're, you know, when they require it. That's just good to hear. I want to say hello to Superman 0415. Welcome to the show. So Barry, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming Virtual Expo. So a couple things we have to talk about. One is, what's COMC doing? I know you're gonna have some promotions going on, and you're gonna have a booth there, and you'll be at the booth, I'm assuming. But I've also teased in the show, in this episode's description, that we are going to be announcing tonight the COMC Challenge Sports Cards Live Invitational, and I think now is a good time to discuss what that means. What is this? How can the viewers of this show win some money in their COMC store credit account to use on the site? And so let's talk about this, because I just think it's awesome that we have a Sports Cards Live Invitational. If I ever thought that there would be an invitational, the word invitational would ever follow Sports Cards Live, I wouldn't have believed it. So the fact that we have that is I love it. I think it's super cool. Let's talk about it. So first of all, what is the COMC Challenge?
So let's go back a little bit. So the COMC Challenge is something that you would do on our website. It helped create the catalog. So I basically took that and used it as a segue to have some more interactive games, you know, during this COVID thing, to have some fun and give something back to our guests. So the COMC Challenge is basically similar to the challenge, but in real life, I would hold up a card like this, and you would have to guess the number on it. And so you basically can use any tools you want other than another human being, and in the chat box type in the number the number of the card on the back. So if you're the first person to type in number 74, then you score a point, and the person who has the most points after 10 minutes will win $25 store credit. So for those people who will register through the Sports Card Live show, right, that we're doing, you get to be the guests for a certain time slot on Saturday and Sunday. So we pull 6 contestants for Saturday, 6 contestants for Sunday. Winner gets $25 store credit. All contestants gets $5 store credit. The winner goes into the playoffs, where you can win an additional $100 store credit, and there's also second and third prizes for the playoff round. So we will crown a COMC Challenge champion for the Fall Expo here. Okay,
so my understanding from our discussions leading up to tonight, Barry, is that the overall challenge is going to have 72 contestants, 36 on day 1 and 36 on day 2. And the reason why we're calling it the Sports Cards Live Invitational is because you have reserved 6 of those 36 spots each day for our viewers here tonight.
Correct.
So that's pretty awesome. We're getting a bit of a head start into even qualifying for the challenge, because not everyone's going to get in. There's only 72 spots for this thing, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And the winner of the whole thing is going to win the $100 first prize, plus they won $25 along the way. So that's how they win $125 of store credit.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to throw something up on the, another banner up. So right here, guys, to register for the COMC Challenge Sports Cards Live Invitational, email sportcardexpo@comc.com. Include your COMC username and the code word SCL2020. There's only 12 spots available. So I recommend and I don't know how, Barry, I'm not sure how you're going to, if you get 50 emails right now or in the next couple of days from this episode here, how you're going to whittle down to 12. But I'll leave that to you, whether you randomize it or it's first come, first serve. However you want to do it is up to you. But I recommend to people watching, you might want to get that email in. You have to be able to be present at the Virtual Sport Card Expo. So you have to be registered for that, and you have to be there at the COMC booth at the slotted time. And I assume, Barry, that to the 12 people that you that you admit into the competition, into the challenge, that you will send them an email or something with their time slot so they know when to show up, right?
Yes. Okay,
great. Okay, so there you go, guys. A very cool opportunity. And boy, would it be awesome if one of our 12 contestants who get through the invitational win this whole darn thing. And if you do, I'm going to put it out there right now. If we have not only, I'm actually going to do even better. I was going to say, though, if one of us wins, and not myself, I won't participate, but if one of our viewers wins the whole COMC challenge, I'm going to, and if you're willing to, I'm going to have you on my guest on a Saturday night for an after-hours show. If you win, but I'll even take it a step further, and I'll say, whoever goes the furthest of our 12 invitational winners will be invited to come on Sports Cards Live after hours on a Saturday night, late night, on a Saturday of your choosing, that if I don't already have it scheduled. So there you go. A little bit added incentive if it really is an incentive to come on the after hour show with me, which I hope it would be enjoyable. It's always nice to have you guys on joining me for the after hour show, but let's do that. So Barry, I'm going to ask you to make sure you communicate to me when it's all said and done who got the furthest from the Sports Cards Live Invitational 12 seats that you're reserving. Okay?
Sure will.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about what's going to happen at the COMC booth.
Well, basically, at any trade show, we would be there to answer any questions. Unfortunately, we can't take exhibitions, so it's all basically answering questions and fun and games. So the COMC challenge is one of them. We are also doing free box breaks. So what you see behind me, right over here, are the boxes that we'll be breaking. So we have a box of 1819 SP Authentic, Upper Deck Series 1 from this year, Panini Prism WNBA basketball, and a jumbo box of 2020 Topps Update. So that's all free. So as long as you have a COMC username, just come to the booth, register with us, and we're basically, instead of first come first serve like in June, we're basically going to randomize it and see who gets what team, and we basically go from there. You get the hits, we put it into your account, and you can do whatever you want with it afterwards.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Okay, I want to shout out here. Carlos made a great suggestion. I didn't think of myself. He says, "Do it, Jeremy. Give away a hat." All right, Carlos, you put it out there. So I'm gonna add this to the prize pool, everybody. Whoever goes the furthest of the 12 entrants is gonna win one. And I gotta say, these are nice hats. Sports Cards Live ball cap, trucker style. All right. Stitched right in. This is no joke. This hat is no joke, you guys. The winner, I will send a Sports Cards Live baseball hat, trucker style, to. Remind me of this, though. Okay, remind me, Barry.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to make sure I package it up nicely, because these are all. I wear it. And I'll send you a different one. I won't send you one I'm wearing, but these are. I did not cheap out on these hats. I'll tell you that right now. So there we go. We're going to send one of those to the winner of the invitational as well. That's a great idea, Carlos. Thank you for putting it out there. I want to throw this up there. Amish Dave says, I hope it's Carlos that wins. I really want to get to know him better since he's so quiet and rarely makes videos. If you guys haven't checked out the YouTube channel, Because I'm Carlos, there it is. Check it out. I've been on his show. Amish Dave Archer's been on his show. Amit is a semi-weekly regular on Sundays with him. So check it out, and you can, if you can take the time. He had Carvin Chung on with him a couple weeks ago. Carvin is formerly of Upper Deck and Panini, the inventor of the Cup and Exquisite, now with GTS, and they went for 5.5 hours. Anyway, that's a long time. So, truer words have never been typed in a sarcastic manner. That is true. That is true. Okay. And thank you, Amish Dave, for the golf clap. So we're going to add that. We're going to add the Sports Cards Live hat to the prize pool with the potential win of $125 of COMC store credit. And hopefully someone enjoys that. So, Barry, what else we got here? You talked about the giveaways at the show, those boxes behind you. That's pretty awesome. We did say that we were going to talk a little bit, or we were going to make fun of Amit a little bit on the episode tonight. It's under my miscellaneous topics for the discussion. I've got Black Friday sale. We touched on that. We touched on EPAC. We didn't really touch on the fact that you guys now do eBay auctions, but unless I haven't seen any questions on that, so we don't need to necessarily get into that tonight. I also had in there, before we make fun of Amit, I also had, I've met Tim and Julia several times. Great people. Just what's it like working with Tim? How is Tim as a leader of the company, and how do you enjoy working with Tim and Julia as part of the COMC family?
Tim and Julia are great people. They are from, and I mean this sincerely, and I have the utmost respect for them. They treat me well, and basically their strategy. Like I've worked in the bank for many years, and I have a typical idea of how a company should be run, and basically Tim and Julia are basically we're all strategically aligned. So that's why I've been here for 8 years and going on 9 and hopefully 10 and more. If I didn't believe if our strategies weren't aligned, I would probably be doing something else. I would not be. They basically have my entire heart and soul helping the company because of that.
Well, you sound like a great employee, man. Loyalty and dedication, that's what you look for. So good on you. Good on them for finding you. Good on Tim for accepting that proposal that we talked about at the beginning of the episode. And I know just from interacting with you at the card shows that you can see that you're dedicated like that. So, you said it, but you didn't have to, type of thing. You know what? It's quite apparent to me. So before we're not done yet, guys. We are now going to. I just want to check one thing here. Oh yeah, I forgot. And Amish Dave, thanks for the reminder. How can anyone make fun of Amit? Is there anything that one of us can find to rib him about? Is this a clever ruse? No, it's not that hard, really. I would say, but we don't do it often enough. We don't do it often. I'm just messing around. Amit's a good buddy, of course, one of my best, and I don't really have anything to make fun of him for. Do you, Barry? You want to make fun of Amit at all?
No, I want to know what Kent says about him with that.
Kent has some insights for sure.
Yes.
Carlos says Barry already made clear we can't submit thousands of Ziggy Palfy rookies. Hasn't he suffered enough today? Fair enough. So with that, let's move into the Sports Cards Live 5. All right, Barry?
All right.
So we're going to start with our 5 questions. And the first one for Barry right now is going to be, what is your favorite card in your personal collection? Because you are a collector.
I am a collector. I'm a Red Wings collector. I collect a lot of other cards. And this card wasn't on my favorites list up until the point I got it graded. And then when I got it graded, I said, wow. And I don't usually get cards graded. And basically when someone sent it to me on my behalf, he says, you know what grade you got? No, you got the highest grade. You got the highest grade out of every card that was made. And it's this 1990 Pro Set, the Stanley Cup hologram at 8.5.
Yeah.
So I told Jeremy about this, and I know Jeremy is jealous because I think he had the highest one before that, or the highest two before that.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite cards of all time. I've got a few of them graded, and I was the proud owner of the highest graded for several years, being a PSA 8. And when I one day went and checked the pop report and saw that there was an 8.5, I was a little bummed out. I was like, oh, that kind of bites. I didn't think there'd be anything better than an 8. But when I found out it was you, that softened the blow for me. I'm happy that you own that card. That's a great card. It's like the first insert ever, and it was numbered to 5,000. Some of them say 10,000 on the back, but the actual, and those were errors. The true number was 5,000. What is your numbering on the back of yours?
Mine is number 1402 out of 5,000.
Out of 5,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Great card. The best card from the Pro Set era, bar none, in my opinion. They put out another hologram the next year, which is a 75th anniversary card, which is beautiful. I saw either Amit or Carlos showed one on Carlos's channel the other day, or Dave it was almost Dave that showed it, I believe. And it's an amazing card. It might even be nicer than the Stanley Cup. The only difference is that it's just not quite as tough to find. It's rare now, don't get me wrong, super rare now, but I love the Stanley Cup hologram. Okay, question number 2. You ready?
I guess so.
You're ready. Okay. What is the card that's highest on your want list right now that is attainable?
It would be the 2002-2003 Upper Deck Premier Collection Henrik Zetterberg.
Oh, the first RPA, the first year
of RPA. And when the card first came out, like back then, first of all, I'm broke now. I was broke before. So so when the card first came out of that product, it was relatively speaking expensive, and then Zetterberg did well, and then I said, okay, now I have to wait until he retires. So guess what? He's retired now. So so now I can go and look for that card and see if it's available, and purchase it. Unfortunately, the market just shot up. So
more expensive now
than I figured, but I guess if there's ever going to be an opportunity, it's basically now's the time. I don't have much of a choice.
And it's a beautiful card, and there's only 99 of them, so you gotta, when you find one, you kind of got to decide if that's a copy that you like. Is it in good enough condition, and do you like the patch too, right? Because obviously it's an RPA.
Yep.
Question number 3, and this one I have no idea what you're going to say, but the question is, where is your favorite place to buy cards?
My favorite place to buy cards now is COMC, and I'll tell you the truth. Like I bought from COMC and eBay prior to this year, like prior to November. I was heavily into buying cards on eBay as well as COMC, but I don't have much time now, and so with that, I don't have the time to do all the searches on eBay, and my attention is like 99.9% focused on COMC. So, that's the literal truth. it's COMC right now.
Fair enough. Okay, question 4. And if you said anything other than COMC, I'd kind of like wonder. I hope even Julie aren't watching, but I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, question 4 is, and after, when you're answering it, I'm going to go type something into my computer. So I just want to let you know I'm just doing that. But question 4, if you could change one thing about the hobby, what would it be?
I have 2 things, but the one that is probably biggest would be, especially for hockey, and is that the redemption expiry window. I wish it was more than the 1 year plus 1 year. It's hard to pull it's hard to pull a redemption on a product that is beyond 2 years old and find out that you may or may not be able to get anything for it. So my wish is that there would be a bigger window for redemptions to be fulfilled.
I think that, I asked this question of almost all my guests, and I've never heard that particular answer, but I love it. Great answer. I agree. It would be nice, gift cards they don't expire, at least in Canada. I'm not sure about in the US, but laws in Canada are that if you buy a gift card from a business to give away, especially this time of year with Christmas coming up, they don't expire. That's the law. And I think I would, and now there's logistics involved that I'm not privy to.
Right.
So let's recognize that might not make sense, but I'd like to know what the constraints may be, because I can't think of them right now in terms of why can't these just never expire? If you have a safe, you can put the cards in and leave them there, but there could be a reason. Do you have any insights into why they do expire?
Not without, I can only guess, so I don't want to guess, but I'm strictly putting on the hat as a collector.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
As a collector, I would like to wish the redemption window would be longer.
Yeah. Okay. Great answer. And I'm with you on that one. Okay. Question 5. What is your biggest hobby purchase or sale regret? And it can even be one that you didn't buy, or maybe you didn't sell a card that you should have.
Oh, can you repeat that again, please?
What's your biggest purchase or sale regret?
Biggest purchase sale. Well, there's okay. It goes back to let's bring back that story from 1979 with my mom and buying and I said I did buy a Wayne Gretzky card. So I did buy a Wayne Gretzky card back in the 90s when the card market boomed, and I got my brother to go to a store to buy a Wayne Gretzky card. It was off-centered, but it was very, very nice. I still haven't got it graded yet. It's badly off-centered. No, but none of the O-Pee-Chee cuts. It's very, very well. But I paid $500 at the time just to get one. But there was a well-centered one, a perfect one for $800 that I didn't buy because it was $300 too much, and I regret that. I regret that now so much.
Okay.
that I didn't find the money to buy that card.
Another great answer, man, because it's such a, and I just want to throw this up there quickly. A great comment from Peter. He says that answer to what I would change in the hobby is a true hobbyist response. Good job. And so thanks, Peter, for recognizing that and for posting it up. And I just want to say, Barry, your response to the biggest regret is another true collector response. It's a great answer. And I'm sorry that you didn't find the money at the time to get that better copy, but live and learn. We live and learn. And it also goes to say that, people always say, buy the best card, buy the best copy you can afford. And I've always wondered about that comment, because it's like, well, I might have $1,000 in my budget, so I can afford 1,000. But if I only spend 500, now I can buy another card for $500. So it's like, if I spend all my money on the one card because I can afford it, well, now I can't afford any other card. So I've always kind of wondered about that comment of buy the best one you can afford. It's like, well, yeah, but then how do you balance it with other desires you may have in terms of your sports card budget? But anyway, great answer. Did you have anything? It looked like you wanted to jump in there with something. No,
I don't. I have so many regrets. I could share that in an after-hours show.
Okay. Well, after hours, your biggest regrets, right?
Yes. Okay. Bring everyone to laughter. How's that?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, listen. We are now. Okay, we're not done. Sorry, I feel I'm off my game here. I took a week off. I'm off my game. The next thing we're gonna do is the card of the day. So let's switch up to the PC card of the day, and this is where I show a card or cards from my collection that tie into my guests. So Barry told me you're a Detroit Red Wings fan, and you said if you had any Nicklas Lidstrom cards, you'd like to see them. So I found 3 Nicklas Lidstrom cards in my collection that I'm going to share with you right now. I showed, before the episode started, I showed him the back of the cards, but I didn't show Barry the front of the card. So I'm going to share those with you guys right now. In order of how I like them, let's say. So they're all Upper Deck cards. The first one is from 2010-11 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection Premium Swatches. This is a card out of 25. And a lot of the cards I show on this segment are cards that I, from sets that I've collected. So this is a 50 or so card set from 2010. I have all of them. There's 2 short prints out of 5. Anyway, this is my Nicholas Lidstrom, and it looks to be right from his nameplate. Probably the T right there, the top of the T maybe. So I'll show you this card, Barry. I'll also show you, now this one is a toss-up. I'll show you this one first. In Upper Deck SP Authentic, for several years, they did a subset called Rookie Reviews. And they're not RPAs because they're not rookie year cards, but they're rookie review patches. And they're like the next best thing to an RPA. So I have this one from the 2007-2008 SP Authentic series. A nice, pretty cool in terms of a smaller window patch, a beautiful autograph, a full body shot of the player, and serially numbered out of 100. So I love this card. Again, this is a set that I've been working on for 12 years. I'm still not finished it. I still need a few cards. I don't pursue it that hard, but I still need a few from this. And if Carlos is watching, my Mike Modano from this set, Carlos, is a stunner. I saw it when I was looking for this one today. So I'll have to show that to you sometime. And then another year from the same, this is from the next year, SP Authentic. They again did a rookie review, and I like this one a bit more just because of the patch. And they also put the rookie year on there. You can see right under the words rookie review, they have 1991-92 to reference his rookie year. So again, it's not a rookie card because it came out, 17 years into his career. It's a 17th year card, but it's like, to me, it's like almost as good as a rookie card because it's a picture of him as a rookie. It says rookie on it. It's got a game used patch and an on-card autograph numbered out of 100. I know it's not a rookie card. I clearly understand that, but it's like pretty darn cool as far as auto patches go. And I love that card. So those are my three Nicholas Lidstrom cards from my personal collection that I am showing off today in the PC card or cards of the day segment. So you like those, Barry?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I want them.
I'm glad that you do. I'm glad that you do. Jeff McMahon wants to know, do you have a few Yzerman cards in your personal collection?
I have a few Yzerman cards. Yes.
You do?
Yes. Couple of rookies. I'm a value collector, so I don't necessarily chase down every autograph because some of the autographs, when it's like serial numbered out of like 19, I couldn't get. But I've been basically, on eBay, I basically been spending what if I could buy an Yzerman card for $40 on eBay, I bought them, and I bought a few, and so I have a few of those. I think the one that I did get like an Upper Deck redemption for a limited logos Yzerman patch, which is with very close to the spoke of the wheel, so that's really nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, yeah, and I love limited logos just as a concept. So I'm sure that's a beautiful card. Colin Murray, great show, guys. Thank you very much, Colin. Colin's going to be set up at the Sport Card Expo this weekend as well, everybody, under, I believe, Sloth 55. So check out Colin at the Sport Card Expo this weekend. If you just joined or you missed it before, we are doing the COMC Challenge Sports Cards Live Invitational, which there are 72 contestants in this contest at the Expo this weekend. 12 spots are being reserved for viewers and fans of Sports Cards Live, which I'm super honored the COMC. That was Barry. This is totally Barry's idea. I was super honored that they were willing to do that. So thank you so much for that, Barry. You have to be registered for the Expo. So it's on the screen right now, sportcardexpo.com. If you have not yet registered, go and register. There's a whole program going on. Some awesome guests. I don't know them off the top of my head, but like Bobby Hall, Mike Bossy, among Andre Dawson, among others, are going to be there. I'm going to be hosting a panel on the main stage with the 2 new graders from CSG Grading. Excuse me. I muted myself while I coughed. So that'll be pretty awesome. That's 3:00 Eastern on the main stage on the Saturday. And then before I let you guys all go, I want to mention one last time that I am really getting behind my buddy Adam, the Real 27 guy on Instagram, and his Basketball Card Fanatic magazine, okay? Because he's got 3 issues out so far. They are all excellent reads. I've read all of issue 1, about 3/4 of issue 2, and I skimmed issue 3 because I just wanted to have an idea before I start talking about it. But these are all excellent. And just to give you a quick idea, guys, of here's issue 3, an interview with Lior Abidar, who's the guy that bought the LeBron James rookie for $1.8 million. He's the guy that bought the Giannis logo man for $1.9 million. He's got some sort, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's got some sort of business coming out in the hobby. And so anyway, awesome. And in issue number 2, he interviewed Nat Turner in this magazine, who's the gentleman who put together the 3 dual logo men from 0203 Exquisite, and is the guy that bought the PMG green Michael Jordan from 1997, about a year and a half ago, for $350,000. So another really cool interview, a great issue. And what Adam is doing for Sports Cards Live viewers, and I'm going to put this on there right now, is if you subscribe, this magazine is not free. He sends it to you in digital format. I've printed it off myself because I want to read this like a magazine. But basically, the subscription is $10 a month or $100 for a full year. What he's offering our viewers here tonight, and this is going to be good until the end of the month, so until the end of November, is if you want a trial version, he'll send you the next 3 issues. So issue 3, 4, and 5. 3's only been out for like 3 days. He'll send you 3, 4, and 5 for $20. This is USD. I should mention it's USD. He'll send you the 3 issues for $20. And then if you want to renew for the next 9 issues, he'll do those for $60. So even better than the $100 deal he gives if you go for a year. It's basically going to be $80 for the year if you want all 12 issues. So check it out. And in order to do that, I've had it up there. Sorry. Subscribe to Basketball Card Fanatic by sending that money, whether it's send $20 to paypal.me/basketballcard. And just by virtue of you sending him $20, he'll know that you're a Sports Cards Live viewer. But if you put Sports Cards Live in there as well, he'll know for sure. So go ahead and do that. And I will mention, in the interest of full transparency, he's offered me a portion of that money to help support this show and this channel. So what I said to him, Adam, whatever, I'm happy to take a few bucks and I'll put it into the channel and whatever I do with that money. But I hope it adds up to thousands of dollars. I don't expect it to, but I hope it does. It's a great magazine. I've enjoyed it. So check it out. And if you want to pay for the magazine, please go ahead and do so. And he's doing a great job with it. So definitely check that out, guys. All right, Barry, sorry for making you sit through all that, but I did want to get that out there because I've enjoyed the magazine myself. So what else do we have? Legion gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, gives us, Barry, 7 rounds of applause. And I can tell you that means something when Legion gives you 7. I don't know if he goes much higher than that ever. Thank you so much, Legion. Much appreciated. Amish Dave, great show, fellas. See you Saturday, and Carlos and I will be in your booth, I'm sure, maybe discussing our limited knowledge of cards. Happy to have you both hang out with me. I know I'll be competing with a meet for your company, but make sure you do come visit me as well. Roy, aloha. I'm glad I stumbled on this show. Such great content. Awesome. Well, Roy, that makes my day. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. If anyone else is new and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Jeff, great show as usual. You should go for 4 hours to make up for being off last week. I'd love to. Oh, that reminds me, we're past the 2-hour mark, which means that we are officially in overtime. All right, back to the comments. Oh, sorry. Colin Murray is HC Exchange. HC Exchange is his booth at the upcoming Sports Card Expo. Paul Cashman, good show. Thank you so much. Oh, well, there he was. Paul Cashman, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Always great to have you. Chris West gives us, is that 10 stars? That's 9 stars. 9 gold stars. Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate that. One last time, guys. Put it up on the screen. Sport Card Expo is where you go to register for the show that is coming up this weekend. Make sure you're there. I want to see you. Come hang out with me at my booth on the screen. Want to meet as many of you as I can, and card shows are where I can do that. And in the absence of a real card show, it means we have to do it the virtual. So come on and hang out. I mean it sincerely. I want to hang out with you guys, have some chit chat, and yeah, that's what I want to do. So please come and join. And it's going to be a great show. It was great back in June. It should be great again coming up here. So with that, I believe we are done. Barry, any parting words from you, my friend?
I want to just mention 3 things. Number 1, the COMC challenge. We have a kids slot too, so you can participate and then have your kids participate in another slot doing the same thing and we're giving away not only $25 and 5, but we'll also give away a free Tim Hortons pack too. Second of all, we are giving away almost $3,000 in prizes for the Sports Card Expo. So come by our booth. Check out our blog post for the schedule. And one of the grand prizes for our dice game, which I didn't mention, is a Tiger Woods hard signed autograph.
Ooh.
And yes, Jeremy, come on by.
I'll come on by. I want to win the Tiger Woods autograph.
And I just want to take a moment to mention about our Black Friday. So just to give you some concepts, we know we're not doing as well in our processing and our shipping. So we're basically tailoring it to meet expectations. And COMC is basically giving out the most specials in our history. So one thing that we're not doing is, like, for every sale there's a 5% commission that we take. We're not taking that in. We're not taking that during Black Friday. Plus a whole bunch of other things to basically entice sellers to lower their prices even more, because we're not taking the fees, so that the buyers can get even better deals out there. So there's going to be more information coming up very soon, because Black Friday is just around the corner. But just let you know, the specials, there's never been better specials during Black Friday this time than we've ever had. So
load up your shopping carts, load up your watch lists, and wait for those sales to kick in. When does the this is a silly question, but I just don't even know when Black Friday, when is it? Next weekend?
It is next weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to know for myself, because I'm going to have to go through my watch list and make sure that I'm on the ball and ready to pounce if any of those prices come down to where I want to buy. A lot of cards have been sitting on my watch list for months, if not years, and I'm just waiting for the seller to get impatient and bring their prices down.
Yes, this could be the time. This could be the time.
This could be the one, huh? Okay, awesome. So again, if you want to register and you haven't yet, send your email to sportcardexpo@comc.com in order to register for the Sports Cards Live Invitational. This guarantees you, well, it may get you a guaranteed spot in the COMC challenge, where you have a chance to win COMC store credit up to $125. That is no joke. All right, Barry, thank you for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun, man. You're a great guest. I love your backdrop. Your video was great. Your audio was great. I know I made him switch his headphones with 3 minutes to go, because he said he had a new pair. I said, break them out. We're getting some feedback. So we got the new headphones on. You were a great guest, Barry. Thanks to you. Thanks to COMC for coming up with this Sports Cards Live Invitational. I'm honored by that. I think it's wicked. And like I said earlier, whoever of the 12 Sports Cards Live contestants in the challenge, even if you don't make it to the end and win the whole thing, whoever gets the furthest is going to win a Sports Cards Live baseball hat. And again, as I've said, this is a quality unit right here. And I actually had it made by a fellow collector who is in the business of swag. And so thank you to Jordan Stewart for making these hats for me. And this one is, like I said, that's stitching. That is not a press on. That is stitched right in, as you can see in the back here, right? Like, it's legit hat. So whoever wins it, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you wear it with pride, or just own it with pride. I mean, I sure think it's cool. So, okay, Barry, thanks again. Thanks everybody for watching. We will be back on Saturday when Amit, who we didn't make fun of tonight, will be joining me. This will be halfway through the Sport Card Expo. So to all of you who are going to be at the Expo, come and watch that. And it's going to be Expo weekend. We're going to hang out. We're going to hang out Saturday night here on the show. We're going to talk about the Expo, and it'll be a very free-flowing discussion. I don't plan to have much of an agenda besides recapping our days at the show, and then we'll be open for questions and comments and whatever hot hobby topics you want to talk about. So come join us Saturday night on the YouTube channel, Sports Cards Live, and then next Wednesday I will be back with Tracy Hackler from Panini. So that'll be another awesome episode. I'll throw those future episodes up right there. And then we have more and more. We have more coming up. Even on November 28th, Ken Reed, the anchor on Sportsnet, will be joining me. He's got a new book out, which I've started to read, and I will say it's awesome. And then December 2nd, perhaps everybody's favorite guest, Brian Gray, will be joining me, and he is always entertaining. So make sure you guys join for all these shows. Sorry I was gone for a week, but it's great to be back. I got to say, I was a little nervous coming into tonight, Barry. I was legit nervous because I felt, whoa, have I lost my rhythm or what? But it's awesome to be back. So thanks, everybody, for coming back. Amish Dave, hopefully some Brodeur cards get lowered at COMC. There you go, man. Let's pounce. Let's pounce. Carlos, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carlos. Chris West, Amit Khalid, Ziggy Palfy rookies. Seriously. Jordan, registered. Good for you, man. Hope you win a spot and hope you win the whole thing. I hope someone from the show wins the whole thing. All right. I've rambled enough. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Barry, thanks so much. Wait right there, man, in the back. I'll be back with you. Everybody else, good night, and thank you for joining us.